Slava Isus Christus, Slava Navika, glory be to Jesus Christ, glory be forever. This is Father Basil, and I'm going to start doing some new things in my podcasts and my videos that I go online because, I think that time is short and that we need, as Christians, as Catholics, to understand why we exist on this earth, what is our role on this earth, and what is our eternal destiny. And we focus on some things in this world that are just not important anymore, like are just not necessary to focus on. Of course, we have to focus on money to make a living, to buy the things we need, but in the end, all those things are not going to be as important as our eternal soul, as our destiny to be with God forever. So I was going through some of the books that my wife and I have in our home, and one that I kind of caught my eye is called The Teaching of Christ, a Catholic Catechism for Adults. And this was written in the 1970s by some priests and theologians. And even though it's a little bit of, a little bit dated, it still has a lot of interesting just points of emphasis that we have to think about as Catholics, as Christians. So, to me, this is important. This is what I need to do as a priest, to teach what our Catholic Church teaches. So this first chapter of this book is called The Hope of Our Calling. Christ is our teacher. You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for so I am. From John 13. All that the Catholic faith teaches is Christ's answer to man in his search for the meaning of life and in his desire to lay hold of what the heart longs for. The message of Christ is a message of joy to a world in need of hope. So we speak of the goodness of the life to which Christ invites us. It shows how Christian hope is realized already and part in this world. Already, Christ enables us to live a new life. A life supported by divine gifts, that we may care and love to make this world a presence of God's kingdom. It shows how the Christian life is essentially a life of hope, pointing confidently towards perfect fulfillment of the gifts God has planted in our hearts. And we also talk about the central role of Christ in our hope and in our life. Life is mysterious. It stirs rich hopes in our hearts, even as it bears within itself profound tragedies. Hope and joy, grief and anxiety are strangely intermingled in the world, and we cannot help asking, why do we exist? What is the meaning and purpose of our lives? The hope and joy in life are very real. Though the world is wounded by sin, it remains the world God has made and found for very good. The beautiful things he has made still mirror God in countless ways and delight the human heart. In every kind of art and science and skill, man can find enjoyment in his work. Especially great gladness surges up whenever men give and experience friendship and the reality of unselfish love. But the grief and anxiety in life are also very real. Human history is in large part a record of wars and of personal failures and tragedies. Human puzzlement over pain is recognized in the Gospels. The apostles asked Christ why a certain man had been born blind. They were moved by the calamities that strike us so often. So when the Tower of Siloam fell and brought as when the tower of Siloam fell and brought death to 18 people. What is this life that promises so much yet so frequently disappoints us? Already in childhood, we learned that those who know and love are taken by death. We first saw sickness and became aware of pain. Others may have tried to explain to us why these things were so, but we were not really satisfied. For they knew, and we perhaps sensed their awareness, that their answers were not adequate. But the questions posed are far too important to remain completely unanswered. Why are we, and why do we live in a world like this? The answer to man's persistent queries is Christ himself. In all that he was and did, Christ was providing the answer to man's deepest questions. In all his life and teaching, Christ was responding to man's quest for the meaning of life and was showing how great is the hope that he brings to us. He brought realistic hope to the real world. He, the crucified, did nothing to gloss over the mystery of evil and pain because he understood and cared. He wept in the presence of human sorrow, but he knew and taught that suffering is not unrelieved and meaningless evil. He, the Lord of all, tasted suffering, sanctified it, and made it redemptive. In his light, men can learn that God does not love pain. In his life, they can see him make suffering itself a tool of redemption. He teaches men confident hope and intelligent joy, even in a world far from its final perfection. The mystery of life is complex and profound. So also is Christ's answer to it. Christ's answer is found in his entire life and in the life he taught and made possible for men. His answer is more than words. It also is action, and he invites us to act with him in the gift of the Spirit. He came to give us a new life, which makes everything different. He says in John 10, I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. So I think I'll just end for that, my first session for this reading from the teaching of Christ, and just to reflect upon what is our destiny in life. Why are we created? Why are we called to be with Christ forever? And through all the suffering, through all the hardships, through the very difficulties that we have in our life, we are called to love. We are called to forgive. We are called to be Christ-like to everyone. And I will be getting into that with that reading that we'll be reading through this book. And also just to make examples, give examples from everyday life, how we could be more like Christ, how we could be more like he wants us to be in this world, and how we follow him, we worship him, we give him thanks for all the blessings in this world, and we follow him to eternal salvation. God bless you. Have a good day.